Hello. This is going to get the video delayed a little bit because I'm having to re-record it. I did some of my math wrong. And so here we are again. Basically, the topic of this video is specifically support rune choices, especially the inspiration tree. Because as you see here, I was going to do more long-form analysis of Weibo Thunder Talk, but I want to sort of get my feet under the meta at least a little bit, so expect more short-form videos, even though I did talk about the plans for the future on Twitter. If any of you are interested in that, that is at mblazkin2. If you have more questions or things that you'd like to know about the Twitter, follow it. Or it's at mblazkin2, not at mblazkin2. So we've got the support choices from here, right? Aftershock, standard, weakness, standard, and then you take green, usually it's adaptive carapace or tenacity, something like that, and then pathfinder. I want to specifically critique pathfinder in comparison to demolish and pack hunter, using its Stuart's website. Wild Rift Fire, check it out, great site. Even though I don't agree with 100% of it, it's usually got relatively good builds that will help you out. So, just doing a bit of calculations here. Rakan's base movement speed, Gragas' base movement speed, basically the same. The boots are going to add 25 movement speed to that for 400 gold. So, divided by 25, you get 16. So basically what we're doing here is we're taking the amount of gold you're getting versus the amount of stats you're getting, and then turning that into a value, or effective gold value, right? So basically what you're doing here is you're paying 16 gold for 1 MS. And so this is the value that you sort of want to base your references off of, right? To go a bit further into this, I'll probably have to do a separate video because I do want to talk about this. If you looked at any of my old gold efficiency calcs, you'll see that I talk about how it's really hard to quantify gold in Wild because they treat passives very fast and loose, and with how you're supposed to do it, it generally wants the cheapest costing item, even if that item is the cheapest costing for multiple parts, right? Like Tear of the Goddess items are cheapest generally for both uh, mana and for CDR, or ability haste. And so that can make the math, in my opinion, a little bit weird since you're doing two values based off of one reference, and so you can get technically over 100% efficiency if you do some of your math. It's weird. I will talk about it later. But so why do I have plate gold on here? You're probably like, okay, this is all well and good, but why do you have plate gold on here? Well, because we're gonna do some effective gold calculations against Pack Hunter and specifically Demolish. So we'll talk Pathfinder first. Let me get the calculator out of the way. So we've got Pathfinder. Pathfinder gives you 30 bonus movement speed in the river, and while you're in the river or out of combat, you're gonna restore 1.5% missing health or 1% missing mana. So just do a quick times 30, 480. So you're getting, while in river, it's effectively 480 gold. So, right, while you're in river, you're getting 480 gold for the base movement speed. And then if you add, clear this out, you have 16 times 20, which is 320 plus 320 out of combat. So what you're getting here is you're getting 700, 800. You're getting 800 gold EV out of combat and in the river. Specifically, I want people to pay attention to this part of the sentence, right? You're gonna read, because I'm pretty sure that the other runes give you less effective gold value. However, the important thing to quantify is when you're out of combat and in the river. And so you have to consider hey, when am I actually in the river? Plus 1.5 health slash mana. H slash M. I believe that's out of combat as well. Yes. So now let's talk about the second most popular rune, which is Demolish. Demolish says within 550 range of a turret, charge an attack over 3 seconds, and attacking the turret just charges the attack, dealing 200 plus 30% of maximum health, bonus adaptive damage with a 30-second cooldown. So the reason I mentioned plates here, what's going on here, buddy? Is because Demolish is usually used for trying to get plates. So if you assume that you're going to get a plate, you're getting 150 gold. We'll assume that you can get 2 because usually that's at least a good. Because that's at least my frame of reference. I assume 2 to 3 plates. 2 to 3 plates, which is 300 to 450 gold. So this is not a bad stat. Right? If you just assume, hey, I'm gonna get 300, 450 gold extra per game. Also, you're splitting that between yourself and the ADC. I think it's about 50-50. So not a bad split. Especially if you can like, hey, get a plate and a half off Demolish and then let your ADC get the other plate full and get out of range. That's a really nice way to get more gold on the ADC and have them farm faster. And then you've got Pack Hunter. So when you're nearby allied champions, you're going to gain 2% bonus movement speed. And for each ally you participate in a takedown with, you're going to gain 50 gold and they're going to gain 50 gold. So you can only participate with 4 allies max because there's 5 players on a team. So 4 plus 250, 2 sets of 50 is 100, so 400 gold max. So max 400 gold, min 0. And then you're getting 2% of your max movement speed. So just to show, I'm going to use these two as the base values. It's not going to change much, but 528, did not mean to do that. 528 times 0.02, you're getting 10.56, so you're going to get about a 165 probably, 168. And then plus 160, we'll say 169 because it's 169 EV based off the gold. And that's going to be based 528 MS. So here, you're getting at maximum 569 gold. So the things that I want to talk about here, specifically between Pack Hunter and Demolish, you'll notice there are a few key differences compared to Pathfinder, right? First of all is the fact that Pathfinder doesn't have any effective value for your teammates. This is a big thing for me in support runes because you're not going to be carrying the game. I can sort of understand on the more damaging supports like the Gragas and like the Nautilus, and just depending on how aggressive you are and how you build the AP Recall and the AP Galio supports. So you're looking at that, and then you're also looking at the fact of you have to maintain maximum value for all of these, right? We're assuming that you're going to try to get maximum value, but the amount of maximum value that you can get simply based on how the map is structured is really not a lot. Because you've got to consider, the river is really only considered to be these areas, right? It's not considered to be the middle lane. It's not considered to be the brush. So you can't, I don't know, I'm not going to comment on that specifically, but I know that for a fact, like, these brushes, I'm pretty sure don't count as river. I don't know about the ones that are actually considered in the river. Like, this brush is definitely not river because it's on top of the land. However, I'm not sure about this sort of area of brush. So you've got to be considering that. And then you've also got to be considering, based off of this, right? when you're getting kills and when you're getting turret plates, there's a lot of XP gain there as well, which is less quantifiable because I'm not 100% sure on the numbers for how that is split. So the point here is that while this is 800 effective value and it looks really good with the 1.5% health and mana regen, I think that I'd rather have the 500 gold, right? The 569 effective gold value and 350 effective gold value. However, this is actually in gold, right? If you're considering what amount of this is coming in a active form versus a passive form, right? Like active is something that you can do something with it, right? Like active XP, you're like gaining the XP actively. You're actively doing something with it. Or active gold, right? You have active gold that you can spend to buy an item, right? Because these don't have to quantify to a stat that is relatively useless, like movement speed. Um, However, what they can correspond to is, something like armor, right? If you get 3 plates and that's 450 gold, you now have maybe 12, 13 more armor, which is a lot more value in my eyes than, the 800 effective value of move speed. So that's really what I'm trying to bring up here, which is, uh, so you've got, sorry, right? So when you have the effective value, you really should be looking at, hey, what is this effective value doing for me? How do I maximize it? And the best way to do that is actually to use Demolish or Pack Hunter. A secondary sort of point on this is I think a lot of people think that Pack Hunter is way worse than it is because it is not that bad. You're still getting, right? We thought it was like what 10.68 movement speed, right? You're still getting 10.68 movement speed, so you're still getting that movement speed you need. Plus, you get the benefit of the additional gold, even if you don't maximize it, right? Like even if you only get like a kill with your ADC and your mid laner, you're still feeding them 50 gold, which is not bad. It may be less than Demolish. However, if you don't have the ability to push in waves, like if you're just trying to cheese people under turret, I think that Pack Hunter is a viable option. Especially late game, you're still giving people extra gold, right? Like it's acceleration at any point. Demolish acceleration falls off relatively quickly once turret plates fall because then you have to get an entire turret versus, hey, I just need like maybe a chunk of damage. So those are just things to consider, but I really want to talk about how Pathfinder is not that good of a rune anymore. It was extremely good I don't remember what patch it was, but basically pre-change from this when it was you had the ability to use it in jungle, right? Because Pathfinder would take over in this jungle area, this entire sort of quadrant of the map, and just not in lanes. You could go into lane faster using that route, or you can go straight into the jungle into like assisting your, dragon take or your herald take. Dragon take, herald take. Sorry, I got the red side, blue side mixed up. Anyways, that's all I have. Have a good day.